You can't have too many Soul 6 and Metroidvania, can you? So the authors of Stealth and Sanctuary, the iconic two-dimensional Dark Souls, after 6 years released a sequel, adding among other things more elements of Metroidvania. Trite and predictable, maybe, but who cares if it's hard to tear yourself away from the game. The styles in Salt and Sacrifice have changed very little, if anything, and overall it's still the same very dark, atmospheric and coolly drawn adventure in a world where there are obvious problems with fate, hope and love, and the number of optimists tends towards zero. The music fits the overall mood. This time we play as one of the marked Inquisitors, who hunt the souls and heart of mages because they are, quote, ruthless embodiment of elemental chaos. And indeed they are not uncles in a cap and with a staff, but some internal monsters. Their invasion threatens to destroy the once peaceful kingdom. That is in fact almost the entire plot, gradually opening more and more locations. We visit 5 different vaults, finding and destroying more and more powerful sorceresses. You can talk to the characters, asking them for details about what's going on here. The world is spelled out in great detail. You can even listen to the dying confessions of the defeated mages. Somewhere it will be anger, somewhere it will be denial, and somewhere it will be acceptable. And we have a choice of what to say to them in the end. The mechanic of hunting makes look like this. At first, the monsters run from us around the location, scooping us, his henchmen, who are designed to breathe the hero as much as possible, and only then does the general battle begin. If you die, the game will drop back to the place of the last save, and ask you whatever to continue to hunt or stop. If you run out of resources to restore arrows, potions, bombs and other consumables, or just feel that the opponent is not your level, it's better to postpone the execution and do not pumping gathering of materials. After defeating a monster, new recipes for crafting are opened, and players got powerful ingredients to create cool items and new artifacts with passive bonuses. But, most importantly, it allows you to pass through doors that used to say to pass defeat 1, 2 or 3 more mages. In addition, you can now find useful devices that also allow you to climb into previously inaccessible places. For example, a hook cat, or an item with which we quickly and over descent distant move up down ropes. Therefore, we have to return to place already visited often, but it is a pleasantly activity, because there we discover something new. As a result, the research process becomes more interesting, free and vertical. More than once or twice I was surprised to find new chests, weapons and components for crafting. By the way, there is also a procedure for exchanging equipment, as well as the ability to increase the maximum number of arrows and health potions. This also requires very rare materials. Otherwise, we do the usual thing for Soul Slayer: fighting and upgrading. Only first you need to choose one of 8 classes: Assassin, Pathfinder, Priest, Paladin, Warrior and other comrades, which determines the starting equipment and skills. In fights we use dodges, blocks, normal and heavy punches, and remember the central role of stamina. You can also alternate between melee and range combat and use magic, collect salt, analog of souls, for which the camp raise levels, getting new skill points, the danger of losing it if you die on the way of the place of death again. This, of course, is also in place. Here is important to keep in mind that each weapon has unique strikes and combos, and each is focused on 1 or 2 characteristics, for example, strength, dexterity, luck, harness, or even persuasion. And if you increase these traits in the skill tree, the damage from such weapons will increase. Fortunately, the tree is so extensive. That is allow you to do this many ways. And if my character's class determines that dexterity, spear, light ammo and bow were the key one for him, then I was pumping this, opening up the possibility to use more advanced equipment in these categories. On the other hand, no one will forbid wearing heavy armor, boots and gloves of 0 level. Here it's important to make sure that there is no overpowering. Well, in principle, the aforementioned spawning skill tree allows you to move in many different directions. Flexibility grades by the situation and making your class a hybrid. In general, the option for pumping a lot as well as amulets, artifacts and so on. It is possible to do grind at all, considering that after resting on the altars or returning to the camp, enemies and revived. However, the role of their own skill rather than level is still very great. Danger also present traps that are difficult to see, not the most PC-friendly controls and not always correct hitboxes. If you want even more real, then go to the multiplayer network, which in Salt and Sanctuary was not. There was only local copy. Now it's almost like in Dark Souls. You can join one of the two factions and fight with other players. Also allowed to call someone to fight with a particularly strong boss. To summarize, Salt and Sacrifice expand the mechanic of Salt and Sanctuary, makes exploring the world more interesting and free, and adds multiplayer in the style and spirit of Souls. Yes, in some places the battles feels not quite fair because of the problem with hitboxes, but they are not critical problem for the passage. On the contrary, you can need and really want to play. So, Pros is a new mechanics of hunting for mages. It become more interesting to explore the world, a lot of opportunities to pump up, complex battles and awesome bosses, dark attractive atmosphere and style, the same dark music, which came very handy. And cons is problems with hitboxes. The character does not always behave responsibly in platform episode. That's all. Thank you.